Welcome to Small Ice Big Dreams, Season 3, Episode 10.
10, double digit.
Yes, we are almost on the line of a new season, I believe, because, looking at past seasons, we always end at like Episode 11, Episode 14. So soon, it's gonna be Season 4. I don't know what's gonna be new though, I don't know. It's always just kind of the same, but
Yeah.
Why don't we start our new season when we're in college? Let's just make it like season 3's like
What if
30.
you don't go to college? What if you don't go to college?
Well, once you graduate high school.
Deep thoughts. Okay.
it could be start of 2024 maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, see, like one new season each year.
Or
Maybe,
or
yeah.
after my album release, so we can react.
What? When is your album going to be released?
I'm planning Christmas like Eve or the day before, but I don't know if I could. I'm just planning.
I always wanted to have a theme for SEBD, but I don't think we ever stuck to a real theme. Because at first it was just self-improvement, and then like eventually we started running out of ideas to talk about, and then now we're just kind of here. So what would be cool is if we interviewed people more on SEBD. Like, what if we're in college and our roommate's pretty cool, right? And then Steve has new classmates next year. It's like we can interview people even, and I don't know. I think eventually we'll be able to find a theme, because I think honestly it's more fun like doing a podcast with a theme. That's just my perspective.
What type of theme?
Well, I was recently sometimes I watch podcasts with like science themes. Recently watched a podcast about mental health and addiction, and that was their theme. So even when they got like famous artists to get on the podcast, they still talked about that. Obviously they talked about other things, but it was really like refreshing, I think, because they stuck to their theme quite a bit, and they gave like their own backstories as well. The guy was a criminal, and he was a drug addict for a long time, and then he started changing, and it was very interesting. So if ever we could have a theme too.
But there's
I mean-
I think there's always a pros and cons for that though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And then it's kind of interesting because I don't know if Johnny does, but I don't casually watch podcasts. I never really watch or listen podcasts ever. For me,
I used to, but not anymore.
since Ding does, I think Ding knows kind of the trend these days. Podcast trend.
Raps.
Probably the trend is to have a theme, but I like having podcasts without themes because it's more free. It's more flexible with what you can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
is true.
Self-improvement is also a theme. It's just more vague. It's just more broad.
Very broad. It's
Yeah.
very broad.
Yeah, that's why. And I don't know, for me, if because right now we're doing self-improvement, which is very broad, and still we kind of run out of ideas.
But
it
did
gets
we?
repetitive.
I don't know.
And if it's already repetitive, and if we choose a more niche theme, it's gonna
Yeah.
be more repetitive, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I'm thinking. That's why it's kinda.
That's true.
There's pros and cons, I think.
And since we're doing this for us, actually, since we're doing this for us, I think we can do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, yeah, we should do whatever we want to do. I just said let's, like in the future expand into a theme, because I think it would be fun. There's this podcast I was listening to. They do daily poems every day. So like all the famous poems in the English like literature, they read it, and then they just let viewers interpret it themselves. But they don't actually go into the analysis of the poem. They just like read it, and then you as a viewer,
Yeah.
you have to interpret it. So like sometimes I'm sitting on the toilet, and then like it just three poems goes by, because they're all pretty short. So like in the span of like 10 minutes, I just get blasted with like 3 different poems. All of them are super like complicated. There's Shakespeare, there's Edgar Allan Poe, there's all these poets.
Yeah.
I can't understand all of them.
I see. And then they just throw that and then go with their own podcast. That's that's not relevant. That's not
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Those are cool. I mean, we kinda had a, we were thinking of like an intro song. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Having the.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
actually.
but
We had that for quite a while.
and I don't know. I think it was Mario or someone who was like, "Where's the song? I only listen to the podcast because of the song." Yeah.
And then leave. I mean, yeah, we could add songs actually, or we could actually start with new songs every time, right? And then we can kind of actually we could do that. We could introduce songs every now and then, because I found a new artist called Johnny, not Johnny, not Johnny.
Yeah.
There's like an artist called Johnny, and his songs are very, very nice. So just start the podcast with a song, and
Yeah.
That honestly, that would be kind of cool if we just discovered songs by ourselves, and then like, oh, this one sounds nice, and then we find a way to like integrate that in the podcast. Like
Yeah.
we take turns. How about we take turns? So each chooses one song.
Yeah. Maybe if maybe you could like each episode has different, like one episode is dance.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Starting
we can do
from
that. Season 4.
Yeah.
Season 4.
season 4.
Season 4. And
We have something different for season 4.
yeah, and what you call that? We can also embed Ding's idea of having themes. Like we can have each season could have like different themes within, let's say, self-improvement, and then I can focus on that for a few episodes, and then new season whenever it's the new theme, we can do that too.
I think that right now we think that we're running out of ideas, but at the same time we have to remember that we're probably in the busiest time of our lives in terms of schooling. Probably we have to do a lot of work, and honestly we still find time for this podcast, and
Probably, but I don't know, but probably it's the freest time in our life. That's what I think.
really, you think that?
Yes. Because
Okay.
it's still, school is a school. It's like a playground. It's a baby playground. But if you go to society, it's kind of different. It doesn't work like school. I mean, because you can't hang out really. If you really want to be successful, I think you got to dedicate a lot of time. Like every week, one hangout doesn't work. Every week you get to have like a good dinner. I don't know. It's only kind of school stuff. But I think it's overwhelming because we're students. We're still teenagers. But as adults, I think we'll have less time, probably. Not right now.
Mhm.
But I think that's probably how it's gonna be. Because,
I mean, it also depends though.
yeah, it depends.
Like, for example, a musician. I don't think musicians will be, especially at the start. Later on, there will be, if they get famous, it's gonna be really busy. But yeah, at the start,
Yeah.
Mhm. I think Johnny will be relatively busy too, because he's going into business, right?
I honestly don't know, man. I don't know.
What
yeah.
Yeah.
No, go.
Because what I think is business is not for everyone. really.
Yeah.
If you want to, I don't know. I don't think being a businessman is a good trait.
Mm-mm.
I mean, of course, it's a nice thing, if you're a good businessman, but it's really tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
You gotta dedicate all your time. No more hang out with your girlfriend.
No.
Really, it's really hard. Like, and there's only few who can probably risk that, and you don't even guarantee. You don't get guaranteed success.
Mm-mm.
Success is guaranteed. So you are basically risking a lot for, a very low chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think it's
Andres and I were talking about it, and we were like, we can't really see Johnny in econ, like, because most econ majors they go into like banking or like
Right.
they go into consulting, and then we were like, can you really see Johnny in the bank firm? Not really. Can you see Johnny as a businessman? I said, yeah. I think I can see Johnny as a businessman, but then again, it's
Yeah.
what Steve said. It's not for everyone, and I think people can get burnt out easily being a businessman because maybe your purpose is not as in line as maybe other professions. That's just my opinion.
Mm-mm. The way I was thinking one day, because for me too, like, I don't really see myself doing, I don't know, like finance stuff too. But I want to learn finance, but I don't see myself, staying there. And well, I was thinking about my thing, and I don't know, I like the artsy stuff, right? I'm interested in like films. I'm interested in like music, and the part that does that in business is kind of like marketing, right? So I was thinking, oh, maybe that could be the place, right? And just for it's an interesting story, but those places where it kind of tells you about the future, I guess.
Yeah.
And in Korean, it's I forgot, but
Taju?
then yes, yeah, that's that one, where you give the date of birth, the time, blah blah blah, the name, blah blah, and then the things of many things he said was that I should go into a degree that has the name marketing in it, right? That's interesting. But then for me right now, I don't want to go into marketing because I feel like I could learn. It's not really necessary in my opinion. Marketing. I feel
Marketing?
like I can do marketing without doing marketing.
I don't know. 'Cause I think the opposite. I don't think you
Really?
need to know business to do business, but marketing maybe.
Marketing
I think
maybe.
yeah, maybe you need some knowledge for marketing. Business,
Business.
I don't think.
No.
Yeah, as a businessman, it's not really knowledge based.
Mm-mm.
Because if you see all the businessmen, not a lot of them major than business major. It's mostly law or something else.
Right. That's why I also wanted to go to law.
Because business is not a hard concept, and it's really different in textbooks and streets.
And then the reality, yeah.
Yeah, the reality. So I don't think business is a necessity if you want to be a businessman. But I don't know about marketing. Rather, I think marketing is needed, maybe.
Mm.
Like knowledge for marketing, because I think it's based on like human psychology a little bit.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Right?
Mm.
So
Maybe,
I think
I could consider
marketing
that.
makes more sense for me than business, actually.
I see. Yeah, that was interesting. Like, have you guys? Is Chinese culture also like that, or Taiwanese culture like that? Like looking at, like the future? Because in Korea, there's lots of things like that.
Looking at the future, I don't think so. I've never like I was never brought to like a seer or anything like that.
Mm.
So or like a fortune teller. So
Yeah. Oh, I see. Because it's like my mom went there when I was really baby, when I was really young, and they said many stuff like the things I could be, and one of the things was like a businessman. One of the things was like doctor. One of the things was like something music related, and yeah, there's other stuff like I will have like 3 childs. I should, you know, I shouldn't, what you call that? I will marry like later in the year, like 30s, blah blah.
Uh,
I don't know. It's
I mean,
interesting. It's
for me,
Wow.
I did that when I was young too. And
Yeah.
for me, they said I have to leave Korea.
Oh,
That's what they
that's kind of true. That's kind of true.
Yeah. They said I have to leave Korea, and if I do, that I'll make a lot of money.
Mm,
That's what they said when I was young. That's what my mom told me.
I see. I see. That's cool. Yes, you know,
But
some of the things it's like
yeah,
really interesting. It's
but it's
correct.
not just in Korea. They said I shouldn't stay in the same country for a long time.
Mm,
Which I think it kind of worked because I moved back to Korea and came back. So I'm moving constantly. I'm gonna probably move again after. So, yeah, I think it's kind of working. I don't know.
I mean, you're not gonna go to college in the Philippines, so
Yeah, not Philippines.
yeah.
Definitely.
Why? Why?
What do you mean? Why? I don't.
Damn,
He-
the disrespect.
He just wouldn't fit in the colleges here. I
Really?
think.
Well, how are the colleges here? What do you think?
Um,
Are they like nerdy?
no, according to PT Paul, the colleges here give you a lot of like crappy information, like information you don't need. Like he was in a physiotherapy degree and he had to learn about Filipino history,
Oh.
calculus. Like you don't need calculus, but
Yeah.
and like other stuff like that. So he thought it was kind of useless because I showed him the pathway in Australia.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I'm so jealous because it's actually specialized. Like each degree is
For
what you
yeah.
have to use. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's like one thing too I don't understand. Like when I see vlogs of university students and they say they're like econ or med major, and they're saying like now it's my calculus class or now it's my Spanish class. Yeah, I'm like, damn, why? I would hate to do that. But I think Australia don't really have that. That's the
Yeah,
good thing.
Australia's more straightforward.
Yeah.
You do what's in your major, you do what's in your and I like that. But again, it's the pros and cons. Like you could be exploring what you actually like. So
Yeah.
that could not apply to you, right?
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get though. It's like a chocolate box. Life is like a chocolate box.
Yeah,
That's-
that's true.
That's what Steve Jobs said. That's what Steve Jobs said. Life
What?
is like connecting dots. Life is like connecting. Like that's what he said in his famous speech. Let's say the events in your life are dots. Life is connecting the dots, but you can never connect the dots going forwards because there's no dots yet. You can only connect the dots looking backwards.
That's
So-
true.
What you could do is just have faith that it's all gonna work out one day.
Have faith
So,
in who?
that's Faith in yourself.
Mm.
Faith in yourself.
Did
that
he
is
believe
all-
in God?
No. He was a Buddhist.
Oh, I see. I see.
He believed in Buddhism. And
I
then,
I
yeah.
think rather than believing in yourself, like even if you're an atheist, just believe in the universe. Because believing in yourself, that's too much, man. Dude,
But that's the podcast we talked about yesterday.
That's
Yeah.
the same. Believing in the
No. I mean, like believing in yourself, always succeeding. That's a bit too much. Maybe you should believe like in that the universe will always work out.
you.
You'll
Yeah.
be okay. Instead of believing that, I'll always get straight A's or I'll always.
Yeah.
No. I will. It doesn't work like that. It's not like I will always get straight A's. It's like I will get A's someday. That's how you believe in yourself.
Yeah, but
It's not
technically that's believing in the universe too. It's a different way of
Yeah.
looking at it because if you believe in yourself,
Mhm.
it gives pressure to yourself as well. And that could work for some people. Some people are just really unmotivated in their
But
life.
isn't it the same thing? Believing in the universe, believing in yourself. How would they do that?
Here's the thing. From my experience, I've met a lot of people who are already self-motivated. They already have motivation. So if you make it, if they like put all their belief into themselves and they fail a few times, usually those people are high achievers, and when they fall down, they're devastated. And I kind of have the same problem as well. Like if I mess up a test, for example, or I mess up an event from student council, I beat up myself a lot for it, and that's kind of like me putting all the blame towards myself.
Right.
And in some cases, that's good. Maybe for people who are less motivated, maybe for people who blame others a lot. That's a good thing to improve on. But for people who are too hard on themselves, I think that balance is always key. Maybe you should step back and realize that not everything's your fault, and to maybe put that on the universe a bit. Just
Yeah.
that's my perspective.
I see.
I see.
I see.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's something else gonna talk about, but I forgot again. I should write this down. No, no. Yeah, there's like a kind of different topic that we could drift to, but I completely forgot.
we you know what, I don't want a deep podcast. I really want something chill. Let's change it back to chill.
Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna talk about this. I thought about it, right? It is kind of deep, but you guys don't have to make it deep. But it's about Christianity and Catholicism, right? Catholicism, I don't know, Catholic, and in the Bible they say God will come down, blah blah blah, like the people will ascend, and the rest of them will stay in earth, and the people who believed in God will ascend to heaven. And I thought, but Catholic and Christianity, they basically believe the same thing, no?
What?
Catholic and Christianity.
Yeah. But it's a little different.
Yeah.
Minor difference.
But then it's a little difference. But then it wouldn't it be unfair if God came down and only brought Christianity?
Catholic, you don't get saved.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly. And if it was really Catholic, you don't get saved.
so that's where I have my doubts sometimes.
Yeah, like then
I'm like, because I do think God exists because the world is like the universe is so complicated and probably it's almost unreal.
yeah.
I do think there's God, but the thing is, if he doesn't save Catholics because they don't believe in Christianity, is God perfect?
Right,
No,
like
that's a dumb move. That's kind of a
then
yeah.
if it's not that way, does that mean you can just believe whatever, like Catholic or Christianity? So
Exactly.
then why is
No,
there...
But think about it. Like, okay, let's say you believe in Buddhism, but you do good stuff, and then the God comes down and say, "I can't save you because you don't believe in Christianity." But isn't He Almighty? Why can you like how does that work? He should be he should be doing all stuff, right? He's perfect.
Well, God?
Yeah,
Oh no.
that's what the Bible says, right?
Yeah.
He's perfect. He can do everything, but He can't save you, which means there's something that He can't do.
Maybe it's not he can. Maybe he just doesn't wanna.
Exactly. Then is He perfect? I don't know, because that's like I always have my it's always going back and forth because sometimes it really does make sense sometimes, like Bible and God and all
Yeah.
that. Sometimes it really doesn't make sense. Like if you think logically, like He's Almighty, but there's stuff that He can't do. Is that Almighty? Partially mighty, I guess. I don't know. So it's those stuff are like kind of shower thoughts. But I would rather believe in God,
Yeah.
because what do I lose? if I believe in God,
right?
what I
That's what I was
right?
thinking too. Like, you kind of risk it if you don't believe in God. But if you do believe in God, you don't really risk anything, right?
Yeah. If you don't believe in God, then what if there is God?
Yeah, like you believe
And
in
like,
God. No, but then it's also, but then there are people who goes to the extreme level and believe in God.
no. That's why I quietly believe. That's why I believe with silence.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
you don't need to tell everyone.
Yeah, yeah. The people around you don't know, but God knows.
But God knows. Yes.
Yes, yes. I
So
think that's better than people who goes to church every Sunday, worships a lot, but then in their regular life they're like one of the worst person, one of the worst people.
right.
I think those are worse than like
I
what's the
mean,
point? What's the point of going to church, right?
because that's how I treat Christianity. It's like a
What?
it's like a safe bet.
Wow.
and,
Wow.
and then it's I think the community is nice. I think mostly people because I went to church with you last time, right?
Yeah.
And it was nice actually.
Yeah, the people are there are nice, but there are many
Food was nice.
yeah.
Uh,
But that type of church is it's kind of extraordinary, that one.
yeah, because normally it's really big and and I like how the pastor is it called pastor? No,
Yeah.
what is pastor said like he was dissing
Yeah.
the big churches, and I was like, okay, I see you.
But then the thing is, because I went to multiple churches and I like the church in Korea better
Hmm?
because, first of all, this pastor, I can't really understand what he's saying. Like the way his nuance, because he's
Yeah.
not from Seoul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So the lecture that he's giving, or the message he's giving, it's not that touching for me. But still, no, I think the way he
like-
talks too, it's more like conversation like.
I don't know. The only part that I didn't like about that church was that he was screaming when he was talking. And
But
can he,
that's
can
the
he,
thing. That's the thing. Many churches do that.
but I don't like that because I kind of get intimidated when somebody screams at me.
Right.
Like I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm just like, okay, I get it.
I
But
think he's
you know,
trying to.
because when we were having that lunch,
Yeah.
he was very quiet, and I like that kind of voice. Like, talking that voice when it's church, but he screams the heck out when he talks about those stuff, and I'm like, okay.
But that's actually not that bad compared to other ones.
Yeah, so I don't want to go other ones.
Yeah. And what I was gonna say? I was gonna say something, but I forgot. This happened to me before too, when there was a college visit, and there was a college visit, and I raised my hand to ask a question, and as soon as he says, "Yeah, what's your question?" my mind just went blank.
Oh, so you're like,
Sorry.
I was stretching. What?
Yeah. I was like, bro, I completely forgot, and I went back. I remember back. I know. I think, yeah, that's interesting to me. It just goes blank. Oh yeah, boom.
Boom.
Yeah, and I sometimes when I'm reading, I try to practice because I saw a video about like speaking, and the point was that don't try to say like or like that, and instead replace it with a silence.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. And
That's
I tried
what-
doing that, and it's kind of hard. It's really
yeah, it is really hard because that's like unconscious sound that you make when you think, right?
Yeah, but if you don't, if you make that into silence, you can't think.
Not even in speech, like regular conversation, or like, what do you think about that? It's like
Yeah.
unconsciously, you're not thinking to make that sound.
Yeah.
But if you see Steve Jobs,
He doesn't do that?
I think he's one of the best speakers ever. Because he never does you know what he does?
What?
He just quiets down and he just grabs his thingy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
And
have
then-
to
and then-
face it.
The thing is, because when you don't immediately respond to someone's question, I think people get intimidated sometimes. Because I think like because he's waiting for your response, and if you don't respond to anything, like he might feel bad. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's accumulation of those feelings, maybe. But how Steve Jobs talks is, if there's a question, he just goes, "Good question," and just does this for like 1 minute 30 seconds straight. We're just watching and doing this, like.
And he fell asleep. Yeah. Crazy.
And then when he starts talking, he talks with full logic and he doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So he's having that 1 minute 30 seconds
To clear
completely
it,
to
yeah.
himself, and he's just thinking what he's gonna talk, and it sounds way more professional when he answers the question.
Right. And he doesn't have any stutters too.
He doesn't have stutters because he set his mind. He knows what he's gonna talk.
Yeah.
And not only that, but his improvisation actually really is amazing too. Because sometimes you have like counter questions, even though you respond, they give you another question, but he doesn't stutter because he already thought all about that. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, when somebody gives me a question about that, I'm gonna answer like this. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's really, because I don't know if anybody can do this, but he had a garage, like when he had a company, Apple. I think he got how many? I think it was like 300K investment, 400K.
Yeah.
When he had a company, and it was just his garage. How well, how talented do you have to be in order to receive a 400K investment with having nothing, basically? Because they just had a garage and idea, and I guess he was very persuasive about his speech. I think speakers are kind of born to be, though.
But I also think you can be one. Like
You can practice, but you can see like Bill Gates doesn't stutter,
Yeah.
but he's okay. You're not like.
I watched the Bill Gates when I was in the hospital. I watched his documentary.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you did?
Not in the hospital, but I watched the documentary.
And I think it's composed of 3 or 5 episodes.
Mhm.
And it really talks about how much he failed after he established Microsoft. Like he has a company with his wife, right?
Yeah.
And it's
No, not a company.
like a non-profit.
More like a charity.
Yeah, charity, yeah. And it talks about how many, like he failed like 4 different projects, like massive projects. Like one was about toilets, like implementing toilets in Africa, and he failed that because of money, and he had this very good idea, but then at last moment, China changed their law.
Yeah. I saw it.
Yeah. So everything went down to that kind of motivated me too.
And the
in
thing is,
hospital.
by just looking at the documentary,
Yeah,
I didn't want to be a businessman.
you don't want to.
Because you don't want to, because you see how many, like, if you get really attached with Bill Gates in that documentary, you can see how massive the stress is. It's not like one topic, because it starts with him experimenting with nuclear energy. He starts walking, right? He starts walking, like,
His house.
yeah, like, and then the camera follows him.
Yeah, his
And then-
house.
It was it house? I think
It's
it was.
his house, but it's like a forest.
Oh yeah, it was like a forest, but it was his house.
It's his house.
And then he's just walking, and he's constantly thinking about different stuff. And even though he's very successful now, he still works over 12 hours, 13 hours a day. You know, it's crazy. It's insane how much work Bill Gates puts in to different stuff. It's not like one project. Sometimes one project stresses you off. As a student, that's normally the case.
Yeah,
If you have
yeah,
one that's really, really hard, it stresses you off. But the projects that Bill Gates are doing are way harder than test. Way, way harder, uncomparably. And he's doing 4 at like simultaneous, like, you know, at the same time. You know?
yeah, yeah,
4 or 5. And then he also has to worry about his company just by itself, not about the project, but financial status, you know, employees, you know, always being updated to new inventions, new theories.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's almost insane. You don't have a life unless you love the thing that you do, unless you love just doing business. That also connects with Steve Jobs again, because that's what Steve Jobs said. It's not. I mean, loving what you do is really important, because unless you can't sustain, unless you won't be able to hold what you do until you succeed, because it's so hard, it's so difficult. You have to love what you do in order to, you know, go through those hard times.
Yeah.
Long hours, because if you love what you do, long hours is more like, you know, it's still stressful, but it's joyful at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
There is I've been listening this whole time.
Really?
I just had to close my
Yeah.
camera and something happened, but I think there is a quote in the Bible that says, I saw this yesterday actually. So it was a good coincidence. It says, it's from Psalms.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Yeah, it's from Psalms. And it says, it is vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. And it's basically like saying, like, it's kind of useless, like waking up early, going late to bed. Like, at the end of the day, like, I guess rest is a gift from God, and like just to not accept that is kind of pointless, it says. So
those are the parts that I don't agree about Bible, but
no,
anyway.
I agree with them, because at a certain point you get so overworked that all your work after that ensues, that's kind of pointless.
Right.
And it's like, if you look at Bill Gates, he's a billionaire. He built already one of the biggest companies in the world. Realistically, he could give that company to one of his you know, like, people, one of his CEOs, you know, to inherit or something. But at the end of the day, he's still doing all of this. And probably me like a year ago would probably say, like, oh, he should just keep working because that's his responsibility. But at the end of the day, if you work and work and work, when will you have time to enjoy that, you know? Like, I think retire. Just retire. And
So the
leave
thing
it to
is-
someone else.
The thing is, that's why work should be what you enjoy, you know? So you don't have to retire. That's what Bill Gates is doing. He loves what he does. That's why he's doing it forever.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know him to detail, but the way you described it, working for 12 hours a day still, I don't think that's making the most out of life, because there's a
Yeah, yeah.
I think I told you this story. It's the story of the Mexican fisherman.
Not
Did I
sure.
share it with you
No,
guys?
I don't think so.
So basically, a Mexican fisherman, he is catching fish every day, right? But he's a really skilled fisherman, but every day he only catches about, 3 to 5 fish. And so an American businessman who graduated from Harvard, he goes down. He's like, Sir, why are you only catching 3 to 5 fish per day? You know, what are you doing with the rest of your time? And then the guy says, well, I go home, I play with my kids, I drink wine and enjoy the view with my wife, and I sing songs. And then the guy's like, dude, you should catch more than 3 to 5 fish. You should catch 10 fish. And then once you catch 10 fish, you should save up your money for another boat. And then once you get another boat, you should get an employee. And then eventually you should franchise. You could even make it into a company. And then you'll be a millionaire. And then the Mexican fisherman said, well, how long will that take realistically? And then the businessman said, oh, realistically, like 20 years. And then the Mexican fisherman said, okay, once I'm a billionaire, what do I do? After that 20 years. And then the businessman said, well, after that, you can go home, enjoy the view with your wife, sing songs, drink wine, and play with your kids. So, I understand what you're saying. Like, if you like the work, do it. I'm not saying you should completely, like, detract yourself from the work, but I think sometimes you have to know when enough is enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Exactly, yeah.
the thing is, I don't know. But if you find what you really like to do, you get that feeling. It's like a back spine pleasure. I don't know. Because you feel it with your own vein. You feel it with your spine. Because that's what happens to me when I find a great sound. It's like, I don't care. It's so good that I'm just like so hyped. Like, oh my god, this is it. And you just having the moment. I don't know if you have that feeling while doing physiotherapy or whatever you guys do. But
Yeah.
But what I know is that's what probably Bill Gates feels when he has launched a successful business plan or finished a successful project. It's not like, of course, there's some dedications going into that, but he's not lacking in enjoyment. That is his enjoyment, and he doesn't need breaks because that is his break. That enjoyment itself is a break. It's like playing games, playing Valorant. Okay, you don't enjoy every single moment. Sometimes you're stressed. Sometimes it's like that. But you like when you win. You like when you eliminate the opponents. It's like that. So, of course, in any circumstance, your whole life, your whole time can't be fulfilled with enjoyment. Sometimes there's downfalls. Sometimes there are stresses. But if you love what you do, and if you really do, not like faking yourself, then I don't know. I think that's why you should find what you love to do. Because if you find what you really love to do, you will know what I'm talking about. Like 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day. Sounds long, but it's not that long. If you
Yeah.
really love what you do. But if you're kind of lying to yourself, because some people do that actually. They lie to themselves for better purpose. I love business, but they don't.
Yeah.
I love physics, but they don't. It's just like they just calculate their future. It's like, when I do business or physics, I'll get a lot of money, but I think I'm moderately fine with physics or business. I think I'm okay. So I'll just say I love business, but they don't, because they know what feeling that they know what it feels like. They don't know, but they know, they know what it feels like, but when it comes to
Yeah.
applying it to themselves, they just justify. They're like, maybe this is it. Maybe you can't really love what you do, but they know what feeling of love is, right?
Yeah.
They probably do. But when it's implementing to yourself, you just justify and say, being moderately okay is probably loving what you do, and then move on, which is not really the case. Then if you do 12 hours of what you moderately enjoy, then it's going to be a stress, because you moderately enjoy it. But if you love what you do, and if you work 12 hours, it's not really a stress. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not hard, but it's hard, but you do enjoy. It's at the end of the day, it's not like, oh, okay, let me take some break. No, it's like, yes, and then it goes to the next day. It's kind of like that, cause I don't know, cause I can't read your minds, So I don't know if you really enjoy what you do, but for me, it's like that. That's how I do music.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I think you're really lucky, Steve.
Maybe.
I think
Yeah.
you're really lucky that you found something that you really enjoy, because a lot of people, they're still trying to find what they enjoy, me included, and I think Johnny's there as well, right?
Yeah.
And like we don't want working to be a toil. I don't. I want like the stressful aspects of it to be worth it. So I can't like honestly tell you right now that like the career choice I'm going into, that's like 100% sure about it, but at least I know it's something that will bring me fulfillment, even if it's hard, so that might be music to you, right? And to Johnny, he might still be discovering that, but yeah, I think the only thing I can do, because probably I'm not as sure as you, Steve, I can only cross my fingers and try my best. And if I really do that, then I think there's a good chance that it is something that is ultimately the right fit for me, so
Yeah, it's like finding a girl, when you see her, you just know.
Yeah.
It's her.
I
It's
mean,
her. It's her.
I might be too much of a Steve Jobs follower, but that's what Steve Jobs said. If you find what you love, you don't doubt, because you know.
Yeah. Same thing.
You really know, so you don't doubt.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's been a long episode, and just to conclude, yesterday I saw a post. You guys know Avicii, right? The singer, not the
Yeah.
singer, the DJ, and
Yeah.
his famous song, the line goes, the line goes,
What's the title?
it's like nights, and it's like, my father said, "Won't tell me when I was such a child."
These are the nights that never die.
Live a life you
Yes.
will remember, right? I think that's like the middle ground we can find. Like whether you do, the things you like or you don't like, or very much, very little, like if you have a moderate life, whatever life, I think that's like the middle ground. Like if you live the life that is not regretful, and you actually think people will remember you for that good thing, I think that could be the place where it
Yeah, I
finds the
think
middle.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Right. Yeah, so everybody, we gotta start living the life that we'll remember, right? Yes. I think that's the ending remarks.
Nice conversation.
Yes, I think that is decent
It
conversation.
wasn't the most casual conversation though. I don't know
Yeah.
why we can't make casual conversations that easily anymore. It's like you're always trying to find something meaningful, I guess, in a podcast, but that's the
We
thing.
can go casual though, but the thing is, if we go full casual, there's pauses.
It's like
It's like a conversation. I think this
No, not really. There are three of us. It's my perfect three rule. I think that two. Wait, give me 1 second.
1, 2,
I think that
2, 3.
doesn't
I think
work.
the two people, that's like you'll have pauses, but the reason why the three trio is really the best, it's because if two people pause, you have like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next person going in, so there's never really like an awkward moment with a trio.
Yeah.
And just like a side note, I've been listening to a lot of folk music now, and it's like from Ireland,
Yeah. Wow.
and it's all really simple. Like they're talking about like going to the pub, like riding horses, like like they're talking about town stuff. And the reason why I think it's really cool is it's like I've always been one to gravitate towards like really deep music, like stuff that I think I find meaningful.
Yeah.
Like listening to like those kind of simple tunes. I think there's a sort of meaning you can find in that as well. So that's why I wanted to connect it to this podcast. Maybe next time we can listen to a few tunes and have a chill, more chill, just laid back
Just like
podcast.
a meaningless little conversation.
Yes,
Something
let's
we need.
meaningless conversation. That's
Yes,
nice.
yes. All right.
All right,
I think that's it. We'll see you guys on the next episode, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.